Good morning.
She's a hard-working entrepreneur, a drummer, big time, a dancer, and last year a former Nelson Cultural Ambassador. On May 15th, the official Cultural Ambassador for 2020, who I guess was, maybe still is, we'll find out about that, Marilyn Hatfield, along with Troy Falk and Sharon Lang, who together make up the trio Soundserious, will take to the stage to stream a show of original music from the Capitol Theatre. Hatfield is here today to tell us how she's been keeping the beat for the last 15 months and what's to come. How are you, Marilyn?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Yeah, pretty good. Like we were just talking, I think last time we bantered was when you were in the midst of your year as a cultural ambassador. It was a little bit of a weird year, wasn't it?
Certainly was. With all the live performances canceled, it's like no fun.
We also talked a little bit about your business that then too. We'll touch on that too because you got all sorts of stuff, all sorts of balls in the air. But first and foremost, what jumped out to us about your upcoming event is the background on you and the fact that you are a very, very serious drummer. You've been at it since 1994. Tell folks about your love affair with percussion.
Okay, well, my very first exposure was tap dancing as a child, but I really fell in love with drumming and percussion when I took a West African semester of dance, in West African dance in university, and that was the very first time I ever experienced djembes and dunduns played live and like a whole group of people moving to the beat. It just ignited a spark in my soul so deep that it's just still burning today.
Cool.
That path took me to where I am now, and I've been doing it ever since.
Well, pretty remarkable, Marilyn. Just to put that in perspective for some of our listeners, I was 2 years old when you started drumming. So pretty cool. And I imagine, you're quite good at what you do. So for those of our listeners who don't know, what sort of drumming do you do, and whose work as a drummer or have you been the most influenced by?
Okay, well, as I mentioned, I'm really in love with all kinds of global drumming and dance art. So, in particular, West African drumming. I love Afro-Cuban. I play a lot of samba. There's a lot that I haven't done that I would love to learn eventually one day. I've also taken all these experiences and I've incorporated it into my own style of drum kit playing, which is what I do with the band Soundserious. So, I just keep trying to hone my skills all the time, but rhythm and percussion are just part of my everyday life.
What's in your kit? That fascinates me because the next question is actually about a drummer that a lot of people thought was one of the best in the world. I'm not sure if it totally relate to you, but Neil Peart, who I was a huge fan of growing up. I was a bit of a drummer myself, but he had a gigantic kit. What's in your kit?
Okay, well, right now what I have in my kit, I have I have a dun for one, and I use that actually kind of as a snare. And then I have the snare, which is like to my left and almost behind me. I also have these rototoms. They have this really cool melodic sound. So my kit is arranged so that it has like a very melodic feel. Like
right.
It's not just your average drum kit.
Yeah.
I've even done incarnations where I even used a double kick pedal for a while, but not as playing double kick. I actually had the bass drum was behind me.
Oh,
and
yeah.
then I can have a whole rack of duns, and then I had toms up in the air. So, yeah, a lot of incarnations. And, yeah, Neil Peart's great. But I have to tell you, my all-time favorite drummer, of course, is Miss Sheila E. Hello.
Sheila E. How could I have forgotten, right? Amongst the top, I think it's Neil Peart, Buddy Rich, and Sheila E. The top three,
right.
I think.
Well, I got Mitch Mitchell up in here, Levon Helm, of course, John Bonham, like, come on,
John
right?
Bonham, right? Come on, exactly.
And I wanted to mention one more is Karen Carpenter, which most people didn't even know she was a drummer, but
really?
She was so incredible. Yeah, Google that on YouTube. She's amazing.
Keith Moon, too. Come on.
Keith Moon, sure. Karen Carpenter, is that right? Karen Carpenter from the Carpenters, the brother and sister group from back in the 70s. Oh,
she used
interesting.
to drum when they started the band, and they were like, no, we want you up front singing, but she is so good. Or was. I keep saying that. She's, alive.
Right.
So, Marilyn, now that we've touched on some of your influences and some legendary drummers across the spectrum of music in general, why don't you tell us a bit about your band, Soundserious, and what folks can expect to hear on the 15th?
Okay. Well, Soundserious is a trio. As you mentioned, we got Mr. Troy Falk. He plays the guitar, does lead vocals. I'm on the drum kit, lead vocals as well. And Sharon Lang, she's a skilled choral teacher and piano teacher, and she is on the keys and the backing vocals with us. She's been with us for a little bit over a year. Soundserious is sweet, soulful. You're going to get stories about life lived and passing of lives. You're going to get dancey tunes and ballads, jam band style, sort of groovy. If you like J.J. Cale or the Grateful Dead, like we have a range. You're going to love Soundserious.
Awesome. That is diverse.
John Fishman, too. We forgot to mention him. Come on.
Okay.
He's got to be in the conversation. The guy's like, I don't even know what's going on. He got like rubber limbs. It's kind of crazy. And then you talk about the Grateful Dead. I mean, a band with 2 drummers. Like, come on. What other band had 2 drummers?
I know, right?
So Marilyn, you're a bit of an entrepreneur and a go-getter yourself. Why don't you tell us a bit about your business? Given what you do for a living, it must have been super busy this last year.
It has been. Well, I do have a couple of businesses, and one you know about is Cleaning Genies, and we are a professional cleaning company offering commercial and residential services throughout the Kootenays.
Good plug.
It has been incredibly busy because we've been sanitizing places on the daily for a while. We even have some City of Nelson contracts now. Things are really picking up. My other business is Marilyn's House of Rhythm and Dance. I teach all kinds of global drumming and fusion, and I teach my own original creation of rhythm dance, which is drumming and dance choreography done all together. And, you know, pre-COVID, my rhythm dance classes had 18 to 22 people, and now we're like 8 people. Kind of sad.
Well, you've definitely kept the beat for the last year and a half through thick and thin. Talk a little bit. I know we did touch on this when we had you on the show a number of months ago, but what was the experience, or maybe lack thereof, of being the city's cultural ambassador, for which you were for 2020? We have not yet named a cultural ambassador for 2021, have we? That's a bad question.
Yes, they have.
We have. I knew that.
I think she's a writer. Oh, gosh, I should have looked this up. I'm so sorry whoever is the cultural ambassador. Normally they would have like a ceremony, and then I could come and like meet that person too, like switching over the guard kind of, but it didn't happen obviously because of COVID. Yeah, it was a little kind of anticlimactic because I didn't get that opportunity to go out and represent Nelson at all the events that I was supposed to be performing at and participating in. However, like I mentioned when we spoke before, it is a distinction that lives on, and I get to, remain to be the 2020 Cultural Ambassador. And once we get back on those stages, I'll be speaking the good word about Nelson, BC.
It was quite a lineup of predecessors: Alison Gervin, dancer Slava Dovell, Eileen Delhanty Perks, great writer, Ian Johnson, Bessie Wap, Amy Bohegan, Lucas Myers, Anne DeGrace, Hiramoto Ida. Quite a list of noteworthy cultural pillars in town. What was it like for you, Marilyn, to be included in that cast of heavy hitters?
It's outrageously honoring. There's such a cast of talented and accomplished artists, and it just feels amazing to be recognized in that way. And the reality is there are about 20 times this amount of incredible artists who are worthy of this distinction in our area. We are really fortunate to be such a hotbed of amazing artistic talent in every genre.
So, Marilyn, obviously you've had quite a year, actually quite 2 years, it sounds like. What's next for you in the year ahead, and what are you most excited by?
Well, I am looking forward to getting back on stage and producing events, performing at events, getting my rhythm dance group back doing events as well. We want to get some songs recorded. I'm really looking forward to being able to collaborate with more great Kootenai artists for doing some recordings and performances. So hopefully we're going to start to be able to get together in groups and do these kinds of things. Because for me, that's the most exciting, is getting on stage in front of people.
Awesome, Marilyn. Well, I am officially adding Karen Carpenter and Sheila E. to the list of all-time great drummers that I knew of. Thanks a lot for that. I'm going to for sure Google Karen Carpenter.
Okay, one thing I did want to mention, I forgot to say that when we do our stream on Saturday from the Capitol Theater, you're going to get a chance to hear some of our brand new songs.
Wow.
We've never played them live before, and they're really sweet and tantalizing. There's a lot of really enchanting music, so I hope that folks can join us. And you can do it internationally because you can stream the event anytime from this Saturday to next Saturday.
Marilyn, thanks a ton for the time.
Thank you.
Thanks, Marilyn.
So that's May 15th, folks. Troy Falk, Sharon Lang, Marilyn.